everybody. Welcome back to the E3 podcast. I'm Melissa Johnson. Today I have Denise and Marissa. They are both in San Antonio, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So Denise, you are an agent, right? And Marissa is an attorney. So why don't you guys just let's open up with talking a little bit about who you are and what you guys are doing.
Okay, I'll start. So I'm from San Antonio, born and raised. I sell residential real estate. I help people find their dream home. My main primary focus is residential real estate, but I also do commercial as well. And I've been in the business about 8 years. And I come from a line of real estate agents. My mother's an agent, so I've been around the business for a very long time. And I work primarily from home right now because of COVID, but also once that all dissipates, out and about, meeting new people all the time. And so that's what I do for a living.
Nice. And Marissa?
I am an attorney here in San Antonio, Texas. I handle both sides of car accident cases. So I do handle insurance defense, but our firm is moving onto the plaintiff's side of things. So we're handling car accident injury cases on behalf of plaintiffs. And I have been licensed since 2015. I previously did some family law, and I still will, sort of just to keep my hands in it. But my primary focus is injury cases. I do not come from a long line of attorneys. Actually, I am the oldest of 4 siblings, and I'm the first one within my immediate family to graduate from college and move on to secondary or higher level education. So,
wow. Congratulations. Okay, I think that deserves we should probably preface this by saying we are doing a happy hour. So
yes. Cheers.
And that's so awesome. I love that.
And we both have daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how old are your daughters?
So my daughter is 8, and my happy hour consists of sparkling water because I'm actually 8.5 months pregnant. You just can't see my stomach.
Yay!
Oh my God. Now I feel like I need to see the belly.
Here, I'll stand up for you. So I don't know if you can see it.
Yay!
But it's right there. And her name is Sloan, and she will be here in about 3 weeks.
Oh, congratulations. And I love the name.
Thank you.
Marissa? Good one. I have a 15-year-old daughter. So I had her when I was 21. I was a little bit younger.
You're like 12?
When I was a little bit younger, and I actually had her while I was still going through school. So it was a little tough, but we did it. We're doing it. So we're working moms.
Yeah, for sure. Juggling everything.
Yes.
Yeah. I had my oldest daughter when I was really young too. So I feel like I can give it back now, were you 12 when you had your child? No, but I was young.
Yeah.
And then 5 kids later, then you get you have that many kids? Yeah, I do.
You have 5 children.
Huh?
You have 5 children?
I do.
That's amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
And you look like them too yourself.
Yeah, so my son is 9, so he just turned 9 in December. So our kids are about the same age. And then I have a daughter that's about to be 13 next month. And then my other ones are older, out of the house, adult children now, but.
That's fun. I always, this is my second pregnancy after 8 years. And I was like, wow, I don't know how people do it. Kudos to all the mothers who have 3, 4, 5 children. That's a lot of perseverance for sure.
It is. And it's funny, just real quick to mention that your kids are going to be spaced out apart. And I'm going to tell you, I loved having my kids spaced far apart. Some people are like, just get it over with, have them back to back. But I actually really enjoyed having my kids further apart because I was really able to enjoy them. My oldest daughter was 7, I think, when I got pregnant with the twins. And so like she had 7 years of my full attention, and it was like so nice, before the twins came on, because that was a lot to deal with two at one time, and they needed my full attention. But I never felt like my oldest daughter missed out on anything. I was there for all the early moments and everything. I was really able to enjoy that. And you'll like the help too when they get older. It's nice.
I agree. That's my sentiment as well with it. It's like she had, plenty of one-on-one time, attention. And as well the new one will too, because she'll be getting older and not wanting me as much. So I think that it's a good split. For me, it works.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy. I have enjoyed it personally. So it's awesome. And the older ones, I tried not to have the older ones like babysit a lot for the younger ones, but every once in a while, like it is nice if I need to take a shower or something, it's like, can you sit with your brother for a minute, or whatever, just so you can just have a moment. It's nice. So congratulations. I'm really happy for you. I mean, you look fantastic.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I feel like I look like a busted rock when I was pregnant.
I feel like one, so.
Well, you look great. So how did you two meet?
Oh, we met years ago when we were kids.
Yeah, we went to middle school together. We met in 7th grade.
Oh, wow. Here in San Antonio?
Yes.
What middle school did y'all go to?
We don't know if we want that on the record. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, we'll nix that.
We were transplants into that.
That's true, both of us.
We were transplants. We went to Horseman for 1 year together, and that's where we met.
Mm-hmm. We did, and we're still having fun to this day.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. It's fun when you can stay friends with people that long, right?
For sure. I think we knew then, kindred spirits. We found each other in the sea of others.
Yeah. We were like, oh, thank God.
I feel like there's nothing better, right, than when you find your tribe of people. It's just like the people that you really vibe with, and like they get you. And especially when you have that history too of a relationship, it's like they knew you back when, right?
For sure.
Definitely.
Exactly.
It's easy. They know you in the good times, the bad times, and that support is important. Whether it comes, when it comes to your career or family or whatnot, when you have that tribe there in the background helping to support you through it, that's very, very helpful.
For sure. Definitely. Yeah, Marissa, you want to share what you just went through?
Oh,
because we do have a really good tribe, and we have this big group chat, and we have supported each other through so much. And Marissa just went through something pretty serious that affects a lot of women. And
yes, last year in September, actually, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that was, one of those, definitely a life-defining moment. And you kind of take a step back and take stock in, who you have in your life, who's there to help you get through those things. And that's definitely very, very important to have those people surrounding you, no matter where life takes you.
Yeah, so we are proud of our tribe.
For sure.
Y'all gave me goosebumps. I love that. It's such a beautiful thing to have those friendships. And God, like how are you now? What's going on with your diagnosis?
So far so good. So I had to undergo a bilateral or double mastectomy, and that procedure was done in November. And then it went through the healing process, and then I had to undergo another surgical procedure, which is the reconstruction, and that just happened at the very, very end of February. So I got some new boobs for my birthday. My birthday was March 1st.
Yeah, we celebrated.
Yeah.
It should be silver. Yeah, cheers to that. Something we all want.
So other than that, I just have to continue to undergo imaging and being watched and medication for the next, 5 to 10 years. And so it's still, you never know what will happen tomorrow or a year from now. But Denise and I are big believers in God. And so we just have faith that no matter what comes our way,
Right.
we're going to get through it. God will get us through.
Exactly.
And then you have each other to lean on. And I think that's
For sure.
so important. You have to surround yourself with the right people. And, it's funny. I kind of wanted to start this interview by talking about real estate because that's what we talk about. But I feel like this is probably a way better conversation to have because, we all think these things, but we don't really talk about them that often, about who you are surrounding yourself with and what a difference it can make in your life, not just for, companionship, friendship, but like even to your success and things like that, when you're stuck or you're unmotivated or, you got, kicked in the ass on something, you've got these people that you can surround yourself with that can help lift you back up and encourage you and remind you of how amazing you are and all the things that you've been through. And especially like you guys having such a long friendship, like I'm sure you've seen each other through many times of ups and downs and highs and lows, good and bad, and everything in between, right?
Yep, through boobs and babies and,
Yeah.
and all of it.
Breakups, boobs, babies.
All of the bees.
But we got here for that reason because I saw this opportunity for us to do this podcast with you, and Marissa and I always motivate each other when it comes to business. And I said, I think this would be a good podcast for us to do for our business so we can talk a little bit about it. But it does coincide with having healthy relationships. When I started in real estate, I hit the ground running and I just wanted to do business. But what I got burnt out was emotionally with everything that you have to do to serve others. It's good to have a tribe, to have people where you can disconnect and, talk about your needs and emotional, mentally. And so I think that it's important to have that so that you are successful in business. And
Right.
So that's how we got here, because when we get tired, we talk to each other about what are we going to do to grow our business. And I will give her ideas and she'll give me ideas.
And I think that you said something really important there, because even though, a lot of us are in real estate, not everybody is. And a lot of times talking to somebody that's even in a different industry, you're friends, but you're in different businesses, but you get different perspective from
For
that too sometimes. Do you find that you guys are able to give each other like different perspective and help each other, even though you're not in the same industry?
Yes, completely. I mean, I wouldn't be here right now sitting talking to you if it wasn't for Denise and including me and thinking, of how she can include me. And I'm so grateful for that. Thank you, Denise.
You're welcome.
But definitely, and I think it's important for people to remember, you don't want to surround yourself with people who think the same way that you do every step of the way, because then you won't learn anything other than what you already know. And I think the purpose in business and in life in general is to grow. You want to ultimately grow as a person, as someone in a business. You want to have a successful business, and that requires growth. And so it's important to surround yourself with people who do have different outlooks and perspectives so that it just gives you something else to think about. It may not be your cup of tea,
Right.
but you can take it in, you can sit with it, process it, and if it seems like a good idea to you and you can incorporate it somehow
and make it your own,
Right.
and that's what we had dinner and I encouraged her to do that because, in real estate, you have to do a lot of social media marketing. Marissa doesn't necessarily like to do social media. She likes to be a little bit more private. But I told her sometimes that's how I attract new clients, is just getting in front of them. And sometimes you kind of have to share your personality or what you're doing that day. And it's just a snippet. And so, I was encouraging her to just put a little bit more and then maybe kind of tie at the end of it, and she's an attorney. I said, I think people think attorneys and they think they're not as approachable as, say, a real estate agent, because they're like, well, if I ask her a question, is she going to charge me?
Have you noticed?
So we had that conversation the other night at dinner, and I said, it seems to work in this industry. Maybe you should try it. Maybe you'll be a pioneer in that aspect of like doing something different, So we do bounce perspectives off of each other for sure.
Yeah, and it's fun, right? You should have friends and people that you can go to and do that. I think it's very helpful, and it just opens up your mind to different opportunities too.
And I feel like I can see like you pushing each other too, right? Like Denise is pushing you, Marissa, to, do something that makes you uncomfortable. It's going to achieve a result, but even if it doesn't, it's still growth because it's something that you were uncomfortable doing, and she pushed you to do it and you did it, and that's growth. And that's,
For sure. And that brings up a good point. I was going to mention that growth may be uncomfortable. And just as Denise mentioned, I'm much more of a private person when it comes, so I don't really share too much on social media, and I don't really utilize it a lot. But I think it's a great idea the way that, Denise uses it for her business and to gain clients. And although it may be uncomfortable for me, I'm definitely trying to expand and grow in that particular area and see how I can utilize it. So this is my first test, I guess, with that. Opening up my life and
doing fabulous.
being a little bit more open.
Yeah. And I mean, it certainly can't hurt anything. And you think about like, how many attorneys do you really see out there? I mean, okay, we're not talking about Jim Adler or like the Four guy, like whatever the guy's name.
We're trying to get
away from that.
Well, we're trying to get a commercial at some point.
Yeah. Or billboard.
I'm going to be a creative director here. Trust me, there's motivation behind this from me too. Yeah. We're going to get her something, a commercial. I'll be like the paralegal in the background in the commercial.
Or the one wearing the neck brace.
Yeah. Make sure you're holding your baby too at that point. That's like extra points for that.
Having money and this baby.
But yeah, exactly. Go on with your question. What were you saying that we don't know?
I don't know. I just think that there needs to be more, like I said, like if you think about the attorneys in San Antonio, like you could probably name a couple just because of all the stuff, but if you can get out there and do something different, and that's the whole key, right? Is to set yourself apart. What is the one thing that you can say that sets yourself apart? And like telling your story is, I mean, that's just marketing 101. Like people want to hear a story. And so if you're willing to be vulnerable and share that, your story, which I think is a great story. You were a young mom and you put you went to law school and you became an attorney and you went through this, breast cancer scare and everything. And like, you've been through some stuff, and that speaks to people, and makes you relatable and authentic and you're real. And I think any opportunity to do that in any marketing is really key.
Definitely.
I also like to just that I kind of want to touch on this for a minute because, we're all women and I like to be pretty honest about stuff, when talking about this, but you see women that they're either like really competitive with each other a lot. And I feel like a shift has started to happen where women are becoming more collaborative, more in a mindset of lifting each other up. And I mean, those are the women I want to be around at least. And they're still out there, the ones that are just like, I'm better than you. And, I've been to some of these RIA things where it's just like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know what you're about over there, but that's not who I am. But, because I want to have the collaboration and to like really build relationships with other women and help each other out, because it's you know, I'm not saying I'm like anti-man by any means. I love men, but we just have a different set of challenges and a different set of problems. And rather than tearing each other down, when we're able to lift each other up and really help and like be real about it, not fake.
Right.
Have you guys encountered those kind of situations before, and how did you deal with that?
Yes, I have encountered it a lot in real estate. There are a lot of groups of women that congregate, and I've attended some of them, and I think that it's a good asset to have in your back pocket, but it's just a tool. I think it's very important to know that yes, we need a tribe. Yes, we need reinforcement and encouragement, but we also need to build that within ourselves. And I think a little bit of that gets misconstrued and people get sidetracked with friendships when we're supposed to be building our business. And I'm just very business oriented, so I can only do it this much. I can't do it all the time. But I do think that it's great to be collaborative. Absolutely. And it's like she mentioned before, it's great to be collaborative when you can see other people's perspectives and see how you can utilize it for yourself. So I do participate. I just don't do it as much as most women do, only because I think I meditate more when I'm just working solo. Like that's where I get my ideas. And then I can go out and share, right? But I do like that culture of definitely collaborating. I don't like the mean girl culture at all, where we don't want to share.
I think that's where I was going with that. Yeah, the mean girl thing. You hit it right on the head.
And I think it's just an old way of being. Like I had to deal with that. We had to deal with it our whole lives. So I'm definitely not. And maybe that's why I'm more reserved, because I went through it. So I kind of just stick to myself. It's hard to trust. It's hard to know what people's real motives are, things like that. But collaboration is important as long as it comes from a genuine place, I believe.
The heart, yeah.
Yeah.
I've definitely experienced that over my life. Like Denise said, since we were younger, you know, we banded together because we were being
It's us against the mean girls.
Yeah, exactly. And so yes, I've experienced it. And how have I handled it? Well, those people, I don't surround myself with those people. The people that I surround myself with are good, genuine, God-loving people. So, you know, whatever they put out, they're going to get back. That's what I think. So whatever you put out there, you're going to get back. And so if you want to get good, you want to receive good in this universe, put good out. And I am a big believer in that. I try to do that as a person with my friends, my family, those in my industry, other women in my industry. I try to encourage where I can, and I'm also a believer in teamwork, right? Teamwork is the way to go. Like Denise said, there are things that you're going to have to do on your own, get through on your own or whatnot. But generally, I think teamwork is a good idea, because you have some people who are better at some things than others. And the other people that aren't good at this other thing, they're good in another area.
Right.
And when you come together, you can really build something that's really good, where people can focus on what they do well at and they exceed at. And
sometimes it's just people's energy too, though. Like definitely collaborating with other women, energy, sometimes you need that boost and it's fun, and you need to go collaborate with other women, because it's just the energy of she's excited about what she's doing, I'm excited about what I'm doing, and we're feeding off of each other, and energy is transferable. So definitely we're both agree that that's something we'd like to do for sure.
yeah, and just don't surround yourself with the mean girls.
Yeah.
And don't be a mean girl also. don't be one either.
Yeah, Marissa, don't be a mean girl. Love it. I was gonna say something. Crap. Lost my train of thought. Man, I gotta pause it for a minute. I'm recording. Okay, so what I was gonna say was, have you guys found, like, I feel like I'm noticing this more lately too, and maybe it's always been this way and I just never really noticed it, but you know, we work in we all work in a man's industry, right? We're going to circle back to that because I'm curious to know what that looks like in the law world. But, you know, we all work in this sort of man industry. And what I feel like happens is women are so much more open to sharing information a lot of times. Like, and I'm not saying this is like across the board. This is just something I feel like I've noticed enough for it to be kind of significant. But women are just a lot more open to sharing of information. Like if you know something and somebody asks you, you're willing to just share it.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like sometimes with men, they tend to hold things close, you know, like I'm not going to share my secrets of how I'm finding deals, you know, or something, you know, whereas, you know, I talk to women and they'll just tell you everything, you know, and it's so refreshing not to have to worry about this whole, like, somebody's going to steal my idea or something. Like there are no new ideas out there. Like we've all been doing the same stuff forever.
You know what I do? I just call them. Like if I see a producer that is a male, luckily I have a lot of friends that, you know, they respect me in the industry and they're willing to share. And they're like, hey, if you ever need anything, call me. I call. If they're going to say that, I definitely call. And because, you know, it is actually, it feels like it's a male dominated industry, but it really is. There is a lot of women in our real estate industry. But
Well,
I
I should say though, it's mostly agents though. I guess I should probably like rephrase that because there are a lot of women agents, maybe more so investors. Like where I play is mostly a lot of men.
Okay, got you. And I've played in that field too. And I had to learn what that was like. It's different. It's, you know, we have fiduciary responsibilities as real estate agents, but investors don't. So the culture and the climate is a little bit different. And I had to like take one hat off and put another one on and say, okay, look.
More rogue over there.
Very rogue. And you have to
Wild West.
And I said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to, I felt like you're going to respect me like you would if you were holding a deal together with a man. And so in not being afraid of in doing stuff like that, you know, I just make the phone call and I'm just straight up and I just ask like, how did you do that? What did you do? And in that, it's helped me have a lot of relationships with people that, you know, when people ask, do you know anybody selling things off market? Do you know this? Do you know that? I have, you know, contacts for that. And so it's just not being afraid of just asking. Because, you know, men are like women. They will talk too. You just have
give them opportunity.
Yes. So you just have to go and pick their brain like, hey, and say, I want to pick your brain. That's flattering to them.
You're so smart.
So it's definitely rogue on the other side, on the investment side. Is that what you do?
Yes. Yeah. I'm not an agent. I'm just an investor. So it is, I mean, there's more women doing it now. And I think, and that could just be making an assumption. Like there could be lots of women out there doing it and they don't speak up. We don't really know about them. They're not out there as much. I mean, you could probably think of like 10 women that you know that are in real estate investing that are like really out there.
Right.
You know, making a name for
I
themselves.
think I know like 5 that off the top of my head. And I'm always curious as to what that side is as a buyer, right? Like I know what it's like to represent.
Mm-hmm.
But when it turned into us buying one, we started, you know, questioning things like, okay, you know, are we going to have enough to fix this? Are we going to have enough to do that? And, you know, with my experience and my background and my contacts, I'm confident, but it's different when you're
putting your own money into it.
Yeah, and we're trying not to use like hard money lenders and things like that. And what is the true turnaround time for this project and so on and so forth. So it's a interesting dynamic on that side for sure.
It is. And I've talked to there's a lot of investors who are agents and agents who are investors. And I say it that way because most people are like heavily into one or the other. You know, they might do both, but they're usually more focused on one area than the other one. So a lot of times it's realtors that are just kind of dabbling with investing.
Right.
And then there's investors who their primary function is to invest, but then they also go get a license just because they can, capitalize leads that they got that they couldn't turn into investment properties, but they turn them into listings. So
Right.
it's like becomes like a side business for a lot of investors to be an agent or a broker.
Right. Yeah. So, and on the law side of it,
Definitely a boys club.
What is that like? I have no frame of reference for the law world and what that is like for a woman. Can you enlighten us?
Oh, shoot. Like I said, it's definitely a man's world. I call it a boys club. And I think in the beginning, being, a young Hispanic, petite woman, I can't tell you how many times I walked into a law office there to depose a client and they mistake me for a court reporter or, a legal assistant, or they're still wondering where the attorney is. And I'm like, I'm right here sitting at the table next to you.
Frustrate the heck out of me.
I think she kind of gets a kick out of it though. She likes being something that
surprises them.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Fun.
Yeah, because they don't expect it. But then, and I'm real pleasant, hi, whatnot, pleasantries. But then the minute, the camera's on or we have to go, then it's all business. And I think a lot of times they're surprised by how I handle my work and how I do my job and how I conduct myself when it gets to that. Because I've had some of the men approach me and say, you're not afraid to go toe to toe with some of the guys in my office. I've seen it myself, and that's impressive. I respect that. And so the moment that they do respect you, then the dynamic sort of changes and they are more willing to have the conversations with you, like Denise said, and to kind of open their door and say, like, if you need help with anything, if you have any questions, if you know what, I'm going to keep you in mind if I need to refer cases because, I'm impressed by the work that I've seen you do. And so I think it's important to, as a woman, especially, right, whatever industry you're in, especially if it's men or male dominated, you just need to, one, be confident in yourself, right? Hone your craft, be confident in yourself, and don't fall. Or the minute you get pushback, don't be afraid to go toe to toe with them, especially if you know what you're doing and you've practiced or you've researched, you look into it, you've done the work on the back end. Don't be afraid.
Don't doubt what you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Just remain confident in yourself. And even if it's the first time you've done it and you don't know and you're afraid you're gonna fumble or whatnot, you know what? Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. And just walk in there with your head held high, whatever in there is in your industry, and show up. Be ready. Be ready to tackle whatever it is that gets thrown at you, whether it's by a man or a woman.
Yeah. Because sometimes the women are tougher on you than the men.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've
For
had that
sure.
experience.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I love that. I love all those tips. I think that's really important for women to hear those things. And it's like it's a weird thing with that because it's like, you have to go in there and earn the respect, but it's a little frustrating at the same time. It's like, why do I have to go in here and like earn your respect? Like, why can't you just respect me and then like, we're good? Why do I have to prove myself? But, people are people, and it's just something that I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, but
I think it's human nature. I think it's natural. And I don't think people should think of it so much as I have to work to earn other people's respect. I think it's more, you want to earn your own respect for yourself and confidence in your craft and your ability to do your craft well. It's more about what you are satisfied within yourself, what you can do and how far you can go.
And that goes back to my thought process on collaborating, right? Like, sometimes you got to do it on your own, because at the end of the day, you're in that transaction alone, or you're walking into that courtroom alone, and you have to be confident to hold your own, And so, yes, collaborations are great for creative thinking and let's do this, but that was my point, is you have to be able to harness your own power
and strength,
so that when times arise when you have to walk in and be just you're okay with that. That's important.
It's one of those boss up moments, right? Like,
Yeah,
for sure.
sometimes you just got to put on your big girl pants and just be a freaking boss,
Yes.
like you said, regardless. And I love, like, I like what you said, Marissa, because I love doing it too. Like the surprise, like I love to surprise people, because I'm kind of quiet and stuff too. I don't really like,
Right.
I don't know. Supposedly I'm an introvert, but I feel like that's just really when it's people that I know well. I can be that way initially. I'm not like that. I think I'm just shy a little bit, but when you can surprise somebody, it's kind of fun and interesting to see, because like, I think about this one time, like this roofer was doing a job for me and he's trying to screw me over on the payment. Like it was, he called me up and he's like, I'm done with this roof, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, are you sure you're done? First of all, because, how many times we had our time wasted by somebody saying they're done with something and then you go over there and it's not done. So he's like, no, I'm done. We're wrapping up a couple of things. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to come out there and check the job before I release the check to you. So I go over there and they're still doing stuff and everything. And so we're talking and, he's mansplaining things to me and stuff. And I just stayed quiet. And then I told him, you got a ladder? And he's like, yeah. And I said, can you put that ladder up there? I want to climb up there and take a look at that roof right there. And he was just like, I had on like boots and stuff, because I wanted to be cute that day. But I was like, you know what? I'm going up on this roof. I got a feeling, the guy was like talking too much and just something wasn't right. I just had this gut feeling.
Yeah.
I think I need to check what you're doing here. But it surprised the heck out of him. I climbed up that ladder and got up there and I was like, what's that? That's not right. That's not right. And he was just like, okay, we're going to fix that. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to get down off this roof now. So when you're done fixing that,
you're really done
tomorrow, then I will pay you, but I'm not leaving here with, leaving a check here with you. And this is not done. Cause he's like, we're going to have to go back to Home Depot and get this and that. And it's like, well, then you're not done.
It should have been done in the first place.
Already.
Yeah. But normally I probably would have just been like, okay, it's done, but it shocked the hell out of him that I climbed up on that roof and was pointing out the things that were not finished yet, that weren't done or done properly. And he just couldn't believe it, and it's not that I'm a roofer and I know everything. I definitely don't. But like you said, Marissa, like I took the time because I've done I've renovated houses for so long. I know what it needs to be like. And I did research on that. I didn't know at first, like, what's a soffit? What's a fascia? Like, what are all these things? I don't know, and so I took the time to learn about it. But then when you can show them what then it changes the whole conversation, I feel like.
It's the whole dynamic, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the whole theory of empowering yourself with knowledge.
Right.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I wear a skirt or pants. If I know, I know.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, exactly. I'm an attorney, just like so many other men in suits. I'm in a dress and cute heels. I just look cuter doing it than they do. Yeah. Yeah. You just have to stand your ground, and quite frankly, sometimes, when people underestimate you, it can definitely work in your favor. Mm-hmm. So when people do that to me, I don't take any offense to that. I don't mind it at all, actually, because I'm like, that's okay. It'll work in my favor later, because I know that you're not going to be completely prepared the way that you should be, because you're underestimating me. And so I don't mind that at all. And I know exactly what you're talking about, roofing. So on the insurance defense side, we also handle property damage claims, homeowners insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to depose engineers, roofers, and I'm like, oh my God, what, a 3-tab shingle, what does that even look like? Let me feel it. And you have to do your research, then go in there and I'm pretending like I know how, what a roof consists of and the materials and the questions to ask about it. But it's, fake it till you make it and do some work on the back end. And people will think, you do know what you're talking about and you can do well in the things that you need to do well in.
Yeah, for sure. And then just continuing to grow in knowledge so that at some point you're not faking it anymore. You're like, I'm serious, I'm here.
Yeah.
And we're doing business.
Exactly. Some people like knock the whole fake it till you make it thing. They're like, well, you should never do that, but I think exactly what you said, Denise. I think if it's done in the right way, like, yeah, you might have to fake it a little bit. Like you should always go into a situation at least knowing a little bit of something. Okay. But I think it's more of like the confidence, the fake it by being confident, not like you don't ever want to say something that you can't is not true, but it's more about the attitude of
it's definitely more the attitude and you're
exactly.
I think people take that literally and it's more like if you're already in the door, nobody knows everything, right?
Right.
And so it's always like, let me go get that knowledge so that I can have more in my toolbox. Mm-hmm. So it's not faking it completely. She's like, she has her degree, I have my license. We're showing up with knowledge,
right?
Where there's no way we're always going to know everything. And so it's not in the literal sense. Like we utilize what we have and then we go grab what we need in the back end. We don't have to tell everybody, well, I don't know.
Right. And it's not to mean to put anything out there that's untrue,
right?
Or that, that you cannot, making a promise that you cannot fulfill. I don't mean anything like that. That's not good business, and that's
that's one of the
not a good person, not a good or genuine person. But what I do mean is the attitude. If you feel nervous, if you feel scared, those are all normal feelings, which is completely fine, especially when you find yourself in a situation that you have not yet been in before ever in your life. Right. And you're just, starting out, this is new to you. You want to talk yourself into that, hey, I can do this. I don't need to be nervous. I can do it, If you have to fake that confidence just to get over that hill for the moment,
that's
do
that.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like that's something, because I coach women in real estate investing, like how to flip houses and how to wholesale and things like that. And I think that's like one of the biggest hurdles that has to be overcome at the beginning is just this confidence problem of, them being very unsure. And Denise, you might see this too in the realtor space of just, like a new realtor, not being confident enough. And I think
get messages all the time from other women realtors, and they admire what I'm doing, or they'll say, how do you do that? And congratulations on this, congratulations on that. And I just see them and I think like they have the capabilities, and all that they're lacking is that self-confidence.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just I don't look at them, but I'll be talking to them and I can just hear it in the way that they're saying things, and it's just personal growth. And I always tell them, you can do it, and I did it, and I just tell them, like, you just don't take no for an answer. You just keep going, or you just find the answers. Always find the answers. One of my biggest pet peeves is people who are not solution based. And that can be on anything, like customer service. Like if I'm somewhere and the employee tells me there's a problem, I'm like, what's the solution? Like, I'm always like, okay, so how are we going to fix that? There's always a solution. It may not be exactly what we want, but I appreciate people that
making the effort,
that have that are willing to, even because a lot of the times it's a lack of wanting to have the thought process
or to go further.
And I'm like,
make that little effort to go further and say, okay, here's the problem. What can we do to fix it?
Right. And that's something that we talk about that like in my organization too. It's like, if you have a problem, that's fine, but spend a little time thinking about it first and like map out a few solutions and then we'll talk about it. But don't just expect me to solve the problem for you. You know, like I'm going to give you every tool that you need to do this. But if you can't, you know, if you don't understand like what the solution is, give it a little bit of thought. Even it might not even be the right solution. It doesn't matter, but at least spend some time thinking about it first before just expecting somebody to just hand you the answer, because there's no growth in that. And that in turn goes back to like, who do you want on your team kind of thing? Do you want somebody that you've got to tell every single thing, you got to tell them what to do, or somebody that can actually think for themselves? Like, here are all the tools, use your brain, think for yourself, and come up with some ideas.
Right. I have a phrase that I like to use that I use not only on myself, right, but other people. I'm like, figure it out. That's what I always say that. I need to put it on a shirt. Figure it out. So whatever it may be, that applies to everything in life, whether it's in business or, you know, relationship, whatever. Figure it out.
Oh my gosh. Have you read Everything is Figure Outable?
No, I haven't.
Girl, you need to read that book. Oh my God. It's my favorite book. I have bought that book for so many people, but she talks about that very thing. Everything is figure outable. And she breaks down like all the main things that you're going through, that like my favorite chapter that she did was the one on fear. You know, when you're going through something or you're facing something and you've got all this fear, like how do you figure that out? How do you see your way through that? And she just did like this really great chapter on that. Okay. So this has been like one of my most fun conversations, I feel like, because I love talking about girl power and just, you know, empowering each other and lifting each other up and being collaborative. And we're all in this kind of male dominated industry and figuring out ways to really like survive and thrive and, you know, gain that confidence in what we're doing, no matter what it is. And I love that you guys have such a beautiful friendship and can support each other and help each other out and have such a great tribe of people. Like if you don't have a tribe, find your tribe, right?
Yeah. Start your own.
Yeah, start your own if you have to, but you know, and be conscious of who you bring into that tribe. Who's in your circle? Are they bringing you down? Are they Debbie Downers, negative, or are they people that truly care about you and they want you to succeed and they want to be a listening ear and a shoulder to cry on if you need it and a helping hand if you need it? And I mean, I know I have women like that, and I don't have a huge circle. I think it's just part of getting older. Your circle gets smaller, but it's a very good circle. I don't need 10 best friends anymore. You know, I've got, you know, a handful of people that I choose to spend most of my time with. And it's all for all those reasons, just like you guys were saying. So I appreciate you sharing your time today and your wisdom and your sweet faces. Just, y'all are just so cute.
Thank you. We appreciate you having us on too.
Yes.
It was fun. It was good to talk and chat about women in business, and
Yeah.
I for sure had fun. Thank you so much for having me on here, especially when your focus is on real estate. And thank you for thinking about me and inviting.
Yes, I wanted to include you.
Yeah, this was definitely fun. We're gonna have to do another happy hour chat with you.
Yes. We'll make it a standing date.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, if people want to reach either one of you, how can they find you?
Well, I'm on Facebook primarily. I do use my Instagram account, but Denise Bocanegra Realtor. If you Google that, all of my social media profiles will come up. Dee sells homes on Instagram. And then my phone number is 210-857-7377. And if you guys are looking for a nice house or a commercial property, I have vacation homes. I have plenty of experience. I get super excited about helping people find properties. I love to hear their vision and then match them with what they want. So That's where you can reach me. You can just Google me.
Great. Googleable.
Yeah.
And she looks great. You're gonna want to see her, so look her up.
And how about you, Marissa? How can they find you?
So I am on Facebook, Marissa A. Rodriguez, but you can also just look up Hope and Kazi, and my attorney profile is on there. My email address is Marissa, Marissa, at hope-kazi.com. And my phone number is 210-347-2493. Give me a call no matter what type of legal question you have or what type of case you think that you might have, because either my firm and I can handle it if it's a personal injury, car accident, or we can certainly find another firm or attorney who would be able to help you if it's in a different area of practice. We can certainly find someone who can help you out.
Awesome.
Again, solution-based. If we can't help you, we will find somebody that can.
Exactly.
Collaboration, see?
Exactly. So feel free to shoot us some questions, give us a call. We can definitely help you out.
Yeah, we'd love to work with any of y'all.
Yeah, I'm like, if you get an accident or an injury case and we help you get money, you can have Denise help you find a house with the money.
There you go.
There you go.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. This was really fun. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Chat again soon.
Yes.